Now let us talk about the types of functions. So primarily there are four kinds of functions. For the first one is one function, which is also known as injective function. Second type is many-one function. Third type is on-to function, which is also known as surjective function. And fourth is into function. If a function is a one-one as well as on-to, this is called one-one on-to function, or simply a bijective function. So now first let us talk about one-one function in detail. One-one function or injective function. So, by definition, a function f from a to b is said to be an injective function or one-one function if every element of domain A has a distinct image in codomain B, a function f from a to b is said to be an injective function or one-one function if every element of domain A has a distinct image in codomain B. Or in other words, we may say that if a function is such that there is no two elements in domain have a common image in codomain, it is said to be a one-one function. Diagrammatically, if we show this, so say this is domain A, this is codomain B, and this is the function fx. So each and every element of domain has a distinct image in codomain. So this kind of function is called one-one function or an injective function. Now let us talk about many-one function. A function f from A to B is said to be a many-one function, if at least two elements of domain A have a common image in codomain B. A function f from A to B is said to be a many-one function if at least two elements of domain A have a common image in codomain B. For better understanding, let us draw in the say this is the diagram of a function from A to B where there are two elements in domain which have a common image in B. So there must be at least two elements in domain which have a common image in codomain. Though there may be more than two elements which have the common image in B, but at least two elements must be there which have a common image. Then the function is said to be a many-one function. Now let us talk about onto function, which is also known as surjective function. So a function f from A to B is said to be an onto function or a surjective function if there is no element in codomain B which has no pre-image in domain A. A function f A to B is said to be an onto function or a surjective function if there is no element in codomain B which has no pre-image in domain A. Or in other words, we can say that if codomain of the function is exactly equal to the range of the function is said to be an onto function or a surjective function. If that is, if codomain of f is equal to range of f, then f is said to be an onto function or a surjective function. So diagrammatically, if we try to explain, so suppose this is domain and this is codomain of a function fx, and these are the associated elements of domain and codomain, and there is no element in codomain which has no pre-image in domain A, then fx is said to be an onto function. So suppose this is the domain A and domain B of a function gx and these elements of domain are associated with these elements in codomain B, but there are few elements, or at least one element is there in codomain B which has no pre-image or any association in domain A, then we may say that this function, that is gx, is not an onto function. So in this example, fx is an onto function because in codomain B there is no element which has no pre-image in domain A, but gx is not an onto function because there are three elements which have no pre-image in domain A. Now let us talk about the fourth type of function, that is into function. So a function f from A to B is said to be an into function if the codomain B has at least one element which has no pre-image in domain A. Or we may say that a function f from A to B is said to be an into function if range of f is a proper subset of codomain B. Because if codomain B has at least one element which has no pre-image in domain, then range of the function must be one element short of codomain. So in this way, the range of function f must be a proper subset of codomain B. So diagrammatically in this way we can show this. This is the domain A and this is codomain B, and these elements are associated with each other, but there are two elements in codomain which have no pre-image in domain A. So we may say that this function is an into function. So now finally, 1 onto function. A function f from A to B is said to be an 1 onto function or a bijective function if it is injective function as well as surjective function. So a function which satisfies both the criteria of 1 function and onto function is said to be a bijective function.